Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was here on Thursday last week and I listened to the President carefully for 1 hour, 6 minutes. Mr. Speaker, the President sold us hope. And today I've also listened to the Majority Leader. He has sold us excuses. So, Mr. Speaker, I just want to remind the two leaders that you cannot sell hope and excuses 14 months into your leadership. I want to remind them that this administration has taken 25% of the time that they were given by the people of Kenya, if at all the people of Kenya gave them, and they are remaining with only 75% of the time. And this is not the time to tell us that you have stabilized the economy when the facts and figures are pointing opposite direction. This is not the time to tell us that we are out of the hole when we know we are inside the hole and we are continuing to dig the hole even further. Mr. Speaker, where is the evidence that we have stabilized the economy? Number one, if you want to know that the economy is stabilized, you will have to check the interest rates. The interest rates, Mr. Speaker, on government premium instruments like treasury bills and bonds are in the region of 16 and 18%, signaling that our banks would definitely and certainly charge around 24%. That is not an economy that has been stabilized. Mr. Speaker, our shilling is on a free fall. We know it. And no matter how many excuses you give us about it, we deserve answers to that. Mr. Speaker, the other issue that we need to look at is inflation down. The answer is no. Actually, the only inflation that has gone down is food-led inflation. But non-food item inflation is biting this country and biting it hard. And starting with the prices of fuel products, yes, we know there are challenges in the global economy. There are challenges in the Middle East, which again you were told, Mr. Speaker, during the times of campaigns, but that time you were saying our prices of fuels had nothing to do with the problems that we are facing in Ukraine and the rest. I don't want to go that direction because we have talked about it a lot of times. But there are solutions to the price of fuel that we could use to reduce at least the price of fuel to under 200 shillings. And that is, this was not the right time to increase taxation on fuel products or petroleum products. It was done, Mr. Speaker, against the advice of all economists, leading economists in this country. Mr. Speaker, if I was the president, the first thing I would do would be to fire all my economic advisors and economic team and get fresh ones with fresh minds to advise me appropriately. The purchasing power, Mr. Speaker, of Kenyans has been eroded. And therefore you are telling Kenyans that they are better off. Where is that evidence? Ask Kenyans in the streets of Eldoret, streets of Kisumu, streets of Mombasa, streets of Nairobi. I don't know what percentage of Kenyans will tell you today that their life is better than it was a year ago. Most Kenyans will tell you that their lives are worse off. You cannot, when economy is not doing well, you cannot increase or change taxation policy to the disadvantage of consumers. You cannot increase taxation when when people are struggling. And therefore, where we are, you have affected the purchasing power. When you affect the purchasing power by reducing people's disposable income, what is the net effect? The net effect is reduced demand for goods and services. What is therefore again the net effect of that? Low production. What is the net effect of that? Unemployment. And therefore, how are you helping the economy? Mr. Speaker, you cannot claim that you are fighting corruption when your own senior officers are using government resources to hire 8 choppers to a single fundraiser in the village. You are asking all your ministers, cabinet secretaries, on a day, Monday, you buy seedlings for 10,000 and you hire a chopper for 1 million to go and plant the trees. What kind of austerity measure is that? Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude by saying that Kenya is in a drip. If at all we were talking of Kenya being in ICU before the last election, it is now in a drip and we are just surviving by the grace of God. We are praying that somehow some miracle happens that Kenya survives. At this rate, with this administration,
Marco Milemba.
Thank you, the Honorable Speaker, for this chance. I was also here on Thursday to listen to the President on behalf of the people of Muhaya. And Honorable Speaker, I listened with my third ear. And one thing, as a student of history and government and also a student of Ruto Vandaba on speech, I was happy that the President was very confident, and he actually gave